How's it going, everybody? My name is Killed, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a fire alarm system inside of Roblox Studio. The last time I made one of these videos was over 4 years ago. It would have been right around 2021, so it could honestly be near 5 years. January 8th of 2021. So by the time January 8th of 2026 comes around, the video would have been 5 years old. And really in that video, I didn't do too good of an explanation because at the time, I didn't use my voice to explain things. I used an after-party, third-party software to add text onto the screen. So it wasn't all too in-depth. However, in this one, I wanted to be a little bit more in-depth and kind of explain to you the things you need to know and how to do certain things by using the free models in which you may see everywhere on YouTube when it comes to making a fire alarm system on Roblox. If you're looking into making one on your own, like from scratch, I may or may not do a series on that. If you would like to see something like that, do let me know by leaving a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see and if you want to see that. But like I said, in this video, I'm going to go over the basics plus explain a little bit as to what you need to know and what you need to do to fully set up an alarm system within inside of your Roblox build. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so assuming you've loaded up into a base plate, you have many different options. I prefer to go with the latest and greatest base plate. However, what we are going to focus on is grabbing a couple models, putting it together, and seeing if we can actually get this all to work. So the first thing you want to do when you first start up a Roblox Studio thing is more than likely you're going to see UI that looks like this. There are 4 main things that we need to do first. Number 1 is we need to save the game to Roblox. Now to do that, all we'd have to do is you just go to File, you can do Publish to Roblox, and it'll bring up this window in which you can customize the name, add a description. I'm just gonna call this fire alarm how to. And we're going to go ahead and click create. Once you've done that, it should say successfully published and you're good to go on that part. So the next thing we need to do, and this could have been updated for a lot of the models. I haven't really looked into the different panel models. However, there's a big issue with a lot of the panels you come across within the toolbox, which first things first, let's go ahead and make sure you have those open. So the 3 things you need to have open is your Explorer, Properties, and Toolbox. Assuming you have the same UI, all you got to do is locate the Home tab, and then the last options over here, click on Explorer, Properties, and Toolbox. Toolbox allows us to get all of our models. The Explorer allows us to move things around inside of our world. And then Properties is to change stuff about the object or values that we could change to preset the panel to something. But to continue on with what I was saying, a lot of the fire alarm panels that are on Roblox, like if we go ahead and search up a fire alarm panel, if you find one with a door, say for example this one, basically if there was a front panel door on any alarm panel like this for example, and you were sitting in R15, at no point were you able to open this up by clicking the little keyhole, which was standard for a lot of fire alarm panels on Roblox, and it was never really fixed in a lot of the panel coding. So people were stuck not being able to open the panel if their character was an R15 model like this one right here. But if you were in R6, you were able to open it just fine, and it wasn't an issue. So for this case, we're going to go ahead and change the avatar settings to R6. So we have to force the characters to only be 6 parts. The way to do that is you go up into your avatar tab. If you click on the avatar settings, because it's no longer inside of the game settings, which I think is a little dumb in my opinion, you should get a menu that looks like this. The only thing we need to do is we need to find the 3 dots that are at the top right corner. We click on that and we have 3 options. We can force the player to be 15-part characters, so R15. We can force them to be only 6-part characters, which is R6, and which is what we want it to be. Or we can have the player choose between whether or not they want to be R15 or R6. We just want to make sure that all players have to utilize the 6-part character models when they play the game. So when you're done with that, go ahead and click Save Changes. It's going to ask you to save your changes to avatar settings. Basically, what's happening is once you change the character requirements, it's going to tell you that Roblox needs to restart every single server because it's no longer supporting R15, for example, since we forced it to be R6. So go ahead and click Save and Restart. That's not going to do anything to your studio. And we can go ahead and click out of avatar settings. Now, assuming you don't want to force R6 onto characters, all you'd have to do is you'd have to find the panel door And an easy way to doing this is if you're on Windows, press and hold Alt, or I believe it's Command on Mac. Find a part, like hover over a part that could be a part of the door. Go ahead and click while still pressing and holding Alt or Command, and scroll up until you find panel door. And then just go ahead and delete that model by pressing the delete key, or just by deleting it like that. And so now the panel no longer has a door, and regardless, every single player, regardless if they're R15 or R6, are able to access and do stuff with the panel. Like, everybody should be able to. However, we're not going to use that panel. We're going to go with other things. The one thing I want to do first is I'm just going to build a wall. We need to build some sort of like wall to put all of our stuff on. So now that we have this, we need to make sure this is anchored. So there's 3 ways you can do this. You can click on it and then press the anchor button that's all the way up top here. You can do Alt or Command A.
Hey, Future Guild here. I just realized that anytime I say command when I'm referring to Alt, I actually mean options. So in this case, it's Options A.
Click on the wall, go into properties, and scroll down until you find anchored. It should be set to false. Make sure that there is a check mark illuminated inside of the anchor property. All right, cool. So now that we have that, we can get into the actual fun stuff, which is inserting our models. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to search up fire alarm. What we're going to do is we're going to find just some random models that we might be able to use. For example, this pole station, it's a generic little T-bar. I believe this should work. Yeah, so that's going to be our pole station. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to find an alarm. This can be literally any alarm, any model that has working scripts in it. So for an alarm, let's go ahead and do let's do this TrueAlert right here. And apparently there's 3 models. There's a what looks to be like a 7002T, 40, 50, 80 in a regular TrueAlert, which is kind of cool. And you can even argue that we can move like this alarm, for example, to the other side, so we have a little bit more variety and more stuff on the wall. And before I insert a panel, I'm gonna do another like pole station. You're able to do smoke detectors as well. However, in this case, not a lot of the smoke detectors actually function like they should. Let's do this EST pole station, because I'm assuming this one actually works. So the next thing we're going to do, and what would be the final model that I'm going to add in, you are welcome to add in whatever model you want. And I know of a panel that actually works and is actually a very good panel in terms of the features that are on it. Here are 2 models that I actually recommend. I especially recommend this one a lot because not only is it fairly detailed, but there's also a little bit more features than what would be inside of here. And the best thing about this one is that it comes pre-installed with a pole station. So if you're having trouble finding like working pole stations, this specific pole station I know for a fact works. I've used this panel numerous of times before. It works like a charm. So I'm actually going to use this panel. We're not going to use this pole station just because we already have the 2 that we want, which is this T-bar and this EST pole station. And what we're going to do is we're just going to slide the panel right onto here. It's going to be sitting on the wall just like that. And yeah, here we are. So you can go ahead and close out a toolbox. We no longer need our toolbox open. And here are the devices. So here's where we actually put everything together to make it all work. So the first thing we need to do is we need to recognize where our panel's at inside of our Explorer. We can just go ahead and click on that. Let's go ahead and open this up, and you're going to get a crap load of different things inside of here. We don't need to worry about literally any of this besides peripherals and initiating devices. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our 2 pole stations, click, and then over here, press and hold Control and click. And as you can see, we now have selected 2 of these. What you can do is you can just individually drag them in, and that's honestly what I'm going to do. We can go ahead and drag this one into our initiating devices folder, and then we can go ahead and drag the EST SIGA. We can do the same exact thing, and we can drag it into initiating devices as well. Basically, with these 2 things, these 2 pole stations instead of initiating devices, this is going to allow us to set the panel into alarm, because the panel, it's basically going to check for a value called alarm. If it's set to true, then the panel goes into alarm. Now that we're done with initiating devices, we're going to go into our sound visual devices. And first things first, we're going to locate peripherals again. We're going to open up to find voice evac NAC peripheral. And now there's two things that we need to find, more specifically one thing and the one main thing. We need to find other signals. If you're going to work with horns like this, best to put them in other signals. If you're working with speaker strobes and you want to play like a whoop and a message tone, you would want to put your devices into speakers. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to locate our devices. So we have the 405080, the True Alert, and the 7002T. And what we're going to do is we're going to click and drag these models and we're going to put them into other signals. Now that these models are inside of other signals, panel can look for these devices whenever the system is set into alarm. It's going to make the alarms work in short. And actually, I did kind of lie. We need to do one more thing before we test it out. I'll go back into your toolbox and you're going to look up fire alarm reset key. When you press enter, there's going to be a couple of options. I would recommend getting this specific one. Go ahead and insert it into your world. Now, you're obviously going to need this to be in starter pack. If you want the player to start with the key, I'm going to drag it into starter pack. If you didn't just like drag it into the world, and if you were to just click on it, it's going to ask you if you want to put this tool into starter pack. Go ahead and click yes. But because we already have it, I'm not going to do it a second time. So basically now we should be in the clear and we should be able to see all of this in action. So when you're done putting it all together, you can go ahead and click play. We're going to go ahead and spawn into the world. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to work this. So obviously you pull down. It is clearly working. You can hear all of these going off. Apparently it is set to continuous. Didn't know that, or steady, whatever you want to call it, but it's just the steady sound of the horn going off, no interruptions. We can go up, press acknowledge, silence, maybe. Acknowledge, silence, there we go. And as you can see, the horns will stop, assuming that the models are supposed to replicate their real-life counterparts. Newer devices like the True Alert, they're going to have audible silence. But like the 7002T, because it relies on the horn circuit, it's no longer going to flash. So obviously, we can just reset the system without resetting the pull station. So let's pull out our reset key. Let's walk up to the pull station. It should automatically reset itself. And we can go ahead and click reset. All right, system reset, it was complete. Let's go into options and we're going to go into coding. Now we have 5 options: continuous, temporal 3, march time, pulse, 90 beats per minute march time. Let's go ahead and do number 2, I guess number 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this EST pull station and we're going to pull it. Maybe. Surprise, well, however, we have this one and that's all that matters. As you can see, go ahead and reset. All right, we can go back into options. We'll do coding, and let's go ahead. Oh, it's pulse, by the way. Let's go ahead and do number 1. We'll press enter, and we're gonna go back into options, and we're gonna do the drill button. So we'll press 2 and press enter. Okay, or not. Great. Oh, there it goes. Now it's gonna do a temporal 3. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the drill timer really quickly, but we're going to go into coding options one more time, and this should honestly be a little bit easier. We'll do 4, press enter, and we're going to go back into options, and then we're going to press 3, which is going to be up here. And I should point out too that a lot of these should have decals that should say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. But I guess not. So we're going to press enter on 3, and basically there's going to be a 45-second timer before the alarm go off. So basically we can time lapse this until there's like 2 or 3 seconds left. All right, so we got 4 seconds left, and you should hear them go off. 1 second remaining. There it goes. This is more like a pulse, if anything, but... And I am kind of curious, though. Let's go back into coding options one more time. We'll press enter, and then we're going to try out the march time. The original march time, which should be number 2. And for this one, we'll just pull the alarm. if you're looking to like have like an echo like effect to whenever you hear the alarms, what you can do is you can go into an Explorer and Properties, and inside here you're gonna scroll all the way down until you find Sound Service. But inside here, you're going to find a thing called ambient reverb, and in here you have a bunch of different options. The most echoey ones that you can find: alley, arena, auditorium, cave, concert hall, sewer pipe, stone corridor, stone room, etc. In all honesty, if you want like the most realistic, and if you're trying to make like a big building and you're up close to something, I would suggest doing like an auditorium or something like that. Go ahead and click play. We'll go ahead and pull the alarm. Go ahead and reset, and as you can hear, there's a bit of an echo to it. We'll do March time. As you can hear, there's a bit of an echo to it. There you go. Now you can actually hear this a little bit better. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a guide to a free model fire alarm system. Honestly, I had a lot of fun doing this one. It helped me relearn, I guess, a lot of different things and different features that these free model fire alarm panels have and systems have. However, yes, it's free models. Not a lot of people like to use free models, and a lot of people want to actually learn how to make a fire alarm system on Roblox from scratch. I don't actually know of a series that's on YouTube that goes into a deep dive on how to make an alarm system from scratch, and I mean from like literally apart to an advanced system like this panel that's actually right here. It's usually always going to be like a free model system like this, where you grab really cool looking devices that look like their exact counterparts from real life, and you slap them together, you put them into models, and then you call it a day. Like I said, if you do want to see something like that, do let me know if you are so interested. More than likely, I may as well just start doing it just because it's fun and you can actually learn quite a bit from it. And it's better to be able to learn how to make these systems from scratch, so you don't have to rely on free models, because a lot of these free models, sometimes these free models can have viruses inside of them, which can easily get your account banned on Roblox, which is not good, especially with their new enforcement ban stuff. Make sure you are being careful with the models that you insert into your game that will have scripts, because you don't know if there's backdoors inside of them. And obviously, with a series in which we build it from the bottom up, we'll be able to make sure that there are 0 backdoor scripts that can be used to destroy not only your game, but to also ban you from the platform. So if you did learn something today, and or if you did enjoy today's video, be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next, and if whether or not you have any questions, suggestions, whatever, if you thought it was good, whatever you want to leave down, I will gladly read every single one of those comments. And like I said, if you have any questions, I'll be able to respond to you, and I'll be able to assist you in pretty much any way I can. Hope you enjoyed. I'm Keeled, and I will see you in the next one.